वंदे शंभुं महापतिं सुरगुरुं वंदे जगत्कारणं वंदे पन्नगभूषणं शशिधरं वंदे वसूनां पतिं वंदे सूर्यशशाङ्कवह्निनयनं वंदे मुकुन्दप्रियं वंदे भक्तजन आश्रयं च वरदं वंदे भक्तजन आश्रयं च वरदं वंदे शिवं शंकरं. Friends, hitherto we have been told that yoga is to remain peaceful always. We have to be calm. We have to maintain that serenity. Our mind should be undisturbed. It should be tranquil. It should be in poise. It should be very, very happy and cheerful. This is yoga under all circumstances. Just as the body is able to maintain the same temperature always, whether it's winter or summer, body maintains 98.4. Similarly, mind should maintain its calmness. That's yoga. Calm, when I say, there can be calmness before storm. There is going to be a cyclone. There is going to be heavy rain. There is going to be lightning. There is going to be thunder. There is going to be a great storm. And then, a few hours before that storm, you find calmness. The trees are still, the wind is quiet, the whole atmosphere is very, very, very calm. But a few hours later or few minutes later, there will be cyclonic gales, winds, and there will be a storm. Similarly, a rowdy, a loafer, a murderer, a deceit, a cheat may maintain the calmness. He appears to be sober, he appears to be very tranquil. There is a plastic smile, there is an artificial smile. If you believe that smile to be a genuine love, you are mistaken. In Prashanti, you will be moving about, the faces are very calm, hello, and the girl smiles. If you take that smile to be love, and if you proceed further with a love letter, you will receive the blow. It is not the genuine smile of the heart, it's only here. And the eyes sparkle, lips part, and there is a smile, artificial world. Swami Vivekananda says, civilization is skin deep, is like the makeup of a heroine. Scratch a little, the dark complexion peeps out, the monkey comes out, the beast pounces upon you. It is only a calm exterior, troubled interior. Yoga is not a conflict between the external appearance and the internal mind. Mind has many layers. The upper layer may be calm, the outer layer may be calm, inside it may be boiling. For example, in a ball or a balloon, there may be boiling water inside. Apparently it appears to be smooth, but it is inside in a turmoil. It's boiling. 99% of the people maintain an artificial calmness, and that calmness, by practice you get. Practice a smile. Every minute, if we practice a smile, the lips are so trained to be smiling. Even when we are sleeping, our lips continue to be smiling. It is only an external practice. It is only an artificial expression. That's not yoga. Yoga is the cultural unfoldment. It's not external civilization. Civilization is skin deep. It pounces. Any day the beast comes out, the animal comes out. Therefore, mere external calmness is not the yoga. The upper layer may be calm and mind may be lulled. Mind may be quietened. Mind may be cooled. Mind may be made soft by a few medicines. Drugs lull the mind. You are calm. There are certain drinks which lull the mind. Certain times you are lulled. It is an artificial calmness. That artificial calmness induced by the external agencies is not yoga. Then what is that peacefulness? What is the cause to create that peacefulness? Even the inner layers, the interior layers must be full of calmness. Then the external layer also will be calm. The second step therefore is yoga is peacefulness. That peacefulness is to be created by the internal layers. Then everything is calm. What are those inner layers? Number one, mind should be tuned to truthfulness. Mind should be attuned to truthfulness. Our thinking should be truthful. What do you mean by truthfulness? Truth is available at two levels. One, the absolute level. Then the second is relative level. What is absolute truth? Absolute reality. What is relative reality? Absolute reality is that reality which is unchanging. It is the same always. Example, the sun rises in the east, sun sets in the west. It is real. I see it every morning. I find the sun rising. I find the sun setting. How can you say it is unreal? It is real. But this reality is external. It is not absolute. It is not permanent. From a different standpoint, away from the earth, if we look at the sun does not rise, does not set. He is the same always. Same brilliant, bright, luminous object. This ever-shining nature of sun is absolute reality. Mind should be tuned to that absolute reality, and then relative reality you will enjoy. Who am I? Who are you? That leads to the Jnana Yoga. When the mind investigates, when the mind introspects, when there is a search for the absolute truth, then we enjoy the relative reality. We know that everybody is God. if we are established in the truth that everybody is God, Shrunvantu Vishve Amrutasya Putra, you the children of eternity, I am the Brahman, thou art the Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. If we are established in that essential infinite truth, that I am the Brahman, you are the Brahman, I am the child of God, you are the child of God, then we enjoy the sport of this world. All this is a relative reality. Sunrise you will enjoy, it's not false, it is real. Sunsets, it is not false, it is real. But when I am on the earth, I find these two, then it is called a relative reality. Where you can enjoy the calmness of mind when you know the truth about everything, and then you will be a spectator. You go to the theater. You are seated in the hall. In front of you there is a screen, white screen, and the film starts its journey. The heroine comes, dances. Hero comes, dances. Meanwhile, the villain comes, takes the heroine away. First few minutes only the poor girl and the poor boy are enjoying. The remaining 2 hours, the villain takes the girl. Last 5 minutes only there is fight. Heroine comes back to the hero. You know the truth that it is a cinema. You know the truth that there is only a background white screen. You know that there is no live, living man or woman on the screen. When you know the truth, you enjoy the sport of the cinema. Similarly, when you enjoy the sport of the cinema, your mind is unperturbed, you are not worried, you are not anxiety-ridden. There is no tension. After all, it is a cinema. Life is a sport. Life is a game. Life is a drama. Life is just a combination of good and evil, right and wrong, favorable and unfavorable, hero and the heroine, villain and the fight. This reality you will enjoy with the calmness of the mind when you know the truth. So how to maintain the peacefulness of the mind? When you are truthful, when you are established in the truth, when you know the truth. This is the first step. And we can translate it into a simple Sanskrit word, Satya. Satyam. Satyam is truth. Satyam is reality. Absolute reality, relative reality. You know it to be a cinema and you enjoy the sport of it. You know it to be the sun, not rising sun, not setting sun, but the permanent sun. You will enjoy the movement. We are all the children of the Brahman, we are all the children of God. When we know that truth, we enjoy the game of life. Second step, nothing is inauspicious. Nothing is bad. Everything is auspicious. Normally, people think that death is inauspicious, Ashubham. Let us think carefully. Is death inauspicious? Is death really bad? It is very good. I am bold to say, I am glad to say, I am proud to say that my grandfather died. I am happy because it is only after his death I get the bank balance. If he does not die, how long am I to spend on medicines? How long am I to go to the hospital and waste my energy? When can I spend my youthful time with my wife? The old man is a nuisance. 95 years, he does not die. He has an estate of 500 acres. Every time I am trying to go out, he calls me, asks me to sit by his side. He is to me a nuisance. death to him is good to me. In the nature, old should go, young should come. Old trees, old water, old habits, you find everything useless to quit. Nothing is inauspicious. Lord Sadashiva, therefore, makes death auspicious. The so-called burial ground, the so-called inauspicious cremation ground where the dead bodies are burned, he has made it his house. Shiva lives in cremation ground. It is to him auspicious. Shubham, Shivakaram, Shubhankaram. Nothing is inauspicious. You can see in life, everything is auspicious when we are able to be established in that positive outlook. When we are able to find the auspiciousness, grace, goodness, favorableness in everything, we enjoy life. So the second step is mind should be trained to see good in everything. It should be trained to see Shubham in everything. It should be trained to be auspicious always. You know the truth, but you enjoy it. Similarly, you know it is auspicious as the worldly man. Yes, I'm sorry, your father has passed away. You do say it, but not from the heart. It is only external. We do accept everything is auspicious. This is the second step. Mind should be attuned to truth. First step. Second step, mind should be trained to see the auspiciousness in everything. Then you are blessed. Third, Satyam, Shivam, Sundar. Sundaram is beauty. Beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Black hair is beautiful. White hair is more beautiful. Youth is wonderful. Old age is more wonderful. If only we have the art to enjoy it. Marriage is great. Divorce is greater. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. When a girl is coming, her face is beautiful, her head is more beautiful from behind. Everything is wonderful. You must be in a position to see beauty everywhere. The entire nature is beautiful. Sun is beautiful, moon is beautiful, trees are beautiful, plants are beautiful, flowers are beautiful, nuts are beautiful, fruits are beautiful, boys are beautiful, and girls are beautiful, old age is beautiful. Nothing is ugly in this world. Ugliness is in the mind. Ugliness is not outside. It is within us. When the mind is able to train itself to see the intrinsic beauty, external beauty, intrinsic beauty. External beauty depends upon the intrinsic beauty. Bridegroom goes to see the bride, he looks at the skin, he looks at the face, he looks at the nose, he looks at the lips. Ah, wonderful, beautiful. He marries. The very next day, he sees her without makeup. Then the skin is not bright. Maybe one of her teeth is lost and it's an artificial tooth. Then he gets sorry, feels sorry. What a mistake I committed. When you see the inner beauty, faithfulness of the girl, sincerity of the girl, loyalty of the girl, that Atma Saundarya, Mano Saundarya, Buddhi Saundarya, when you see the intrinsic beauty, then you are not misled by the external beauty. Mind should should be in a position to penetrate deep into the intrinsic beauty. That is Saundarya, cosmic beauty, scenic beauty, natural beauty, psychic beauty, intellectual beauty, spiritual beauty. That beauty is Nirantaram, Shashvatam, eternal, permanent, infinite. To maintain the calmness, yogaha, samatva uchyate, there is a lot of background work. When we enjoy the cinema, how many people are working? So many technicians, cameraman, makeup man, and the studios, electrician, technician, hundreds of people are working behind to show you that beautiful scene on the screen. Similarly, when we want to maintain that calmness of mind, cheerfulness, there is a lot of work within, behind, in the background. And that is, you try to establish yourself in the absolute reality, the truth, so that you can enjoy the artificial, transient, the passing relative reality. The second one, you try to establish yourself in the infinite time, auspiciousness of time. Adi, Madhya, Anta, Rahita. No beginning, no end. It is eternal, it is infinite. Every speck of this universe is beautiful. Every moment of this time is auspicious. Nothing is inauspicious. When you are trained like that, we will be in a position to maintain that. Satyam, Sivam, Sundaram. Satya is truthfulness, Sivam is auspiciousness, Sundaram is that intrinsic beauty. Our mind should be trained in all these three. In the Mahabharata, there is an episode. Dronacharya was the master. Pandavas were his students, Kauravas were his students. One day, he called all the 105 children to his place. My dear students, today I will give you a test. My dear Yudhishthira, Dharmaraja, you are the eldest of the Pandavas. Duryodhana, you are the eldest of the Kauravas. You are the captain of your team. Duryodhana, you are the captain of your team. The captains will be given a test now. My dear Dharmaraj, we have the huge Hastinapur, very large, entire Bangalore city. Go into this Bangalore city, go to this country, India, go to the world, wherever you want to go. Somehow, I have a desire to see a bad man, a rowdy, a loafer, a murderer, a dacoit, a cheat. I want to see a bad fellow. Dharmaraj, please go to Bangalore. Take your own time, I have no objection. Come back with a rowdy. There are so many jails. In Bangalore city, there is a jail, prison. And you will find several murderers there. You bring one fellow. Yes, sir, Dharmaraj said, and he went out. Then Duryodhana was called. My dear young man, go to this vast world, the entire country or Bangalore city. I want to see one good man. Please go and bring. By night or next day, both of them returned. Dharmaraj said, sorry sir, I have looked at every person. I have searched in the entire world. Nowhere do I find a bad man. Everybody is good, sir. Dharmaraj has developed that yogic insight. He is a sattvika person. He is unable to find anything inauspicious, anybody wrong. Everybody has a spark. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was able to find goodness, auspiciousness in Girish Chandra Ghosh. Girish was such a rotten sinner. He used to say, when I am dead, when my body is buried, 6 feet this side, 6 feet this side, 6 feet below and 6 feet above, everywhere my sins will spread, sir. I am a wholesale sinner. If I take bath in Ganga, Ganga will be polluted, sir. That such is my wholesale sinning ability. Girls, young women in Calcutta used to see his dramas, but when he was walking in the street, they will close the doors. They don't want his eyes to fall on them because such a sinful look he has. He drinks, he smokes, he misbehaves, he has no character. Girish Chandra Ghosh is described as a wholesale sinner. When he came, Sri Ramakrishna looked at him. Come on, my virtuous man, you truthful man. He was able to find good in him. He was able to find the truthfulness in him. And that Jagat, Girish Chandra Bose was elevated to the height of a Siddha Purusha. He was able to sit by the side of Swami Vivekananda. A yogi does not find anybody to be wrong or bad. Dharmaraj could not find anybody wrong anywhere. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa did not find Girish to be a rotten fellow. Swami Vivekananda propagates positivism. Find everybody to be good, godlike, divine. When we develop that attitude within and without, calmness of mind is automatic. Next day Duryodhana came. I have gone round the world and everybody is a rogue, sir. The entire Prashanti, entire world, everybody, sir. They just smile, but inside everybody is a villain, everybody is a useless fellow, all are rogues, sir. This is a negative outlook. We see the defect in everybody. Swami Vivekananda placed a huge white drawing sheet on the wall. In a corner of the drawing white sheet, he put a pencil, small dot. People came. What is it you find on the wall? Nobody said the white drawing sheet. Everybody said there is a dot, there is a black dot. We have that negative attitude of finding fault with others. Sharada Devi, Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi says, if you want to have peace of mind, if you want to be a yogi, find fault with none. When you find the merit in everybody, good in everybody, virtue in everybody, righteousness in everybody, then you are automatically peaceful. Yoga, samatva, uchita, prashanti, shanti you get when you don't find defects in others. That is Holy Mother's. Swami Vivekananda brings it down again, the positive outlook. Next, we find Duryodhana finding only negativism. In the Bhagavata Purana, there is a wonderful episode. Balarama, Sri Krishna and Satyaki. These were in the village. Nandagopa, the foster father, asked the 3 brothers, cousins, my dear children, the crop is now full, there is harvest, I find the paddy in heaps. In the night, rats may come and eat away the paddy. Therefore, you please keep watch. Nandagopa said, Balaram, take Satyaki with you, take Krishna with you, take care of the paddy. But be careful, near that place there is a devil. You must be very cautious. The foster father said. Balarama, Satyaki and Krishna went there. They distributed the work. First 3 hours, I will do the duty. Next 3 hours, Satyaki will do the duty. Last 3 hours, Krishna, you do the duty. Krishna, yes, alright, I am the youngest. I cannot wake up in the middle of the night. You did a good thing. You gave me the last 3 hours shift duty. Then Satyaki went to sleep. Krishna went to sleep, Balarama was standing. Father said, there is a devil. Now, Balarama is a strong, stout, robust person. He shouted, who is the devil here? And immediately there was a sound. Who is the devil here? Response. I will kill you. I will kill you. Get out. Get out. 3 hours Balarama was shouting, and there were re-shouts from the other side. He was fed up. Nobody came. He was a little unnerved. He woke up Satyaki. My duty is over. I am going to bed. It is your headache. Satyaki woke up. And he started again shouting. It seems you gave trouble to my brother. It seems you gave trouble to my brother. Who are you to come and disturb me? Who are you to come and disturb me? Satyaki had his own nuisance. Another 3 hours. He woke up Krishna. Wow. Krishna, it is your headache. Do you know how you do handle? You do it as you like. Krishna woke up with a smile. Hello, hello, good morning, good morning. How do you do? How do you do? I came here. I want to see you. I do want to see you. I love you. I do love you. Whatever he is saying, it is being responded to. It is after all a cave nearby. It is only echoing, resound. What you say, that the society says. If you love the society, society loves you. If you are positive towards the society, society will be positive towards you. Krishna, Yogeshwara, is not only calm, he is able to find the absolute reality, find the auspiciousness. He is able to find that Saundarya everywhere. Yogeshwara Sri Krishna, not for nothing the epithet is used by Vyasa Maharshi. Let us try to imbibe that spirit of positivism so that we can be peaceful, cheerful, ever tranquil and ever yogis. Let's now meditate on the great God Yogeshwara Sri Krishna.